Good morning, WellSpring. I'm Julie Shirk, and I've got a couple of things to tell you about this morning. First, last week we handed out information sheets that detailed our summer programming and events for our children's area and our youth. If you didn't get one of these papers last week, I would encourage you to pick one up today. On it are the dates for all of our children's and youth summer events, the cost of each event, required deposit amounts, and the sign-up deadlines. Look for them in the lobby. Did you know that it takes over 400 people over the course of a month to make Sunday mornings and events happen at WellSpring? If you want to find out how to join one of our many impact teams, then I encourage you to check out next week's LifeTrack session, Our Mission. During this session, you'll have a chance to meet and hear from different ministry leaders on how their impact teams are making a difference in our church and community. You'll also have a chance to ask any questions that you might have. The Our Mission LifeTrack is happening next week during our 9:35 service in the Farmhouse Den. You can sign up in the lobby, on the app, or just show up. Finally, we were given a chance this last weekend to be able to bless 2 families in Indiana by framing out 2 houses right here in our parking lot. Over 150 of you showed up over a 3-day weekend, despite the cold temperatures and ultimately the snow. We cut wood, assembled walls, and loaded the semi carrying the houses to their final destination. I want to thank you so much for all of your hard work and commitment to this project. The impact that has been made is not only in Indiana, but right here in our church as well. So today, we would like to close with a short video highlighting this last weekend.
I feel like Clint Eastwood. Sun is in my eyes. When we're talking about the Crossroads Help Build Hope project that we just did, it's got a good history. We're very familiar with Crossroads because that's where our New Orleans mission trip has come from for the past 2 years. And realizing what an impact that made for our young people and the adults who went with them, it was only natural to see this opportunity and think, how amazing would it be if the mission trip came home with us? And that Help Build Hope was a project that made that a possibility. A little bit frightening when we looked at the weather forecast every day, which does tend to change a lot, but it never seemed to change for the better. And coming in on that weekend was, well, we knew it was in God's hands because there was nothing more we could do. We were subject to what was happening.
The weather wasn't perfect, but there was no complaining like we've had at some builds. The WellSpring jumped in. The colder it got, the more fun they were having.
But it really turned out to be a magnificent blessing. If the weather had been great and not cold, it would have been an interesting build. But there would have been something about paying the price just a little bit from our comfort that made the value of this project go up. And if it had not snowed on us heavily, it would have been an interesting build. But the fact that it did snow on us heavily, it cements this into our hearts and minds as just one of the neatest memories ever. To be able to look across the parking lot and hearing hammers rain down and seeing the snow almost blind you at times. It was just a picture that I won't soon forget, and I'll be glad to treasure.
I've noticed, especially some of your contractors, they stopped, took the time to show a little one how to drive a nail. So it was more about education and worship than construction. And I think that's a big key because they had fun, even though the weather wasn't quite what we enjoy, but they were having fun, they were learning, and everybody's like, I hope we get to do this again next year or the year after. And I think that's, WellSpring has really come together.
It I'll never see anything like it with the way the walls went up. We started standing them, and every time I turned around, something else was going up, and people were looking at the plans and making sure that everything was right where it was supposed to be without really having to say too much. So fastest of the builds I've done that we've ever stood a house, and that really was pretty exciting to watch everyone stick around and really make sure that the house was completely set before they headed out for the day.
And I really enjoyed being here and just working with those individuals that are willing to stop and listen and teach not only how to drive a nail, but teach why we're here and what God's expecting of them.